So, hey, today I am so excited about this next segment called The Faces, because there are so many more faces, and you deserve to know the rest of the faces, the people, the stories, the rest of the stories at 514 Church. We have an amazing special guest today. This is called The Faces. Yes, like I said, I did a little teaser about this guest at the end of the last podcast, or the beginning, or whenever it was, because it's so incredible. Today, our special guest is Jordan Whitney-Wei. And you may not be joining the thunderous, mighty throng of applause, but you will by the end of this segment, because Jordan is just one of these guys that once you get to know, you just can't help but really enjoy and love and appreciate. And so Jordan is here. You're going to hear from him. Jordan, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Joel. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really. You have. Just say hello to me real quick.
Hello.
You have an amazing radio voice.
Your
doesn't
voice
he?
is cool.
Oh yeah, you got a radio
Yeah.
voice, man.
Like a Fraser Crane kind of voice.
You got something going on. It's perfect. This is perfect.
Well, I got to tell you, this is my first interview for this book, so thanks for the
You're
honor.
welcome. Yeah, that's one of the reasons I thought it would be such a great moment is Jordan, among so many other things, is an author and just published a book, your first book, ish.
Yeah, we can say that. I mean,
first solo project, first
big traditional publisher.
Yes.
Yeah, large readership project.
And so Jordan started coming to our church. His draw to our church was we, at our church, had a pretty strong emphasis on artistic expression. That was his first kind of reason for coming in. I think he heard about some of the bands and 21 Pilots and some of the things and connections with our church. Jordan cut his teeth in the Xenos Church, which is here in town, which is a kind of a house church model with a central teaching, very heavy on theology and teaching, and then also kind of a radical evangelical movement in terms of going into the highways and the byways and the bars, which, back in the 80s and the 90s, evangelicals going to the bar, having a drink with someone was taboo on the Baptist side of the evangelical world. But you guys were and are the brainiacs, those that are really digging into the Greek and have a pretty intense culture around that information, studying the scriptures. And we've had, look, the reality of church where a lot of people don't know this, 60% of church growth is transfer growth, which, people change churches, man. I mean, people go from one to the other. Sometimes it's really unhealthy and bad. Sometimes it's exactly what needs to happen, and sometimes it's in between. And God tends to use all kinds of different pockets and cultures and whatever to groom people. But you've been here for a couple of years now, and you wrote this book. And Jordan, tell a little bit about more about your background, a little bit more of just you, and then we'll go to this book. I want to end really talking about the book.
Yeah, so my parents both came to faith through Xenos, like you said, and I was born into that community, and I was really raised with a hyper emphasis on diving into the Word, understanding the theology. I particularly grew fond of apologetics and learning.
Defending the faith, explaining the faith.
Yeah, does God exist? Evidence and other moral arguments like that. And as you kind of described them, I've come to kind of view them as the Spartans of the Christian world.
Right, yeah. You mean the Xenos, or that, the idea of those that live in the defending...
like spiritual warfare. I think it's a suitable analogy, just because...
well, wait a minute. So spiritual warfare, to me, moves over into a little bit of the experiential kind of prayer warrior, believing in miracles and demons and heavy prayer, which is all great. But that's what I coined spiritual warfare. I'm viewing what you guys, not that you don't do that, but that a little bit different flavor.
I employ this terminology just in the sense that they're putting on the armor of God.
Right. Yes.
The word is their sword.
The word is
and they're heavily involved in evangelism, especially in the student ministry at OSU campus.
Right.
So their church motto is really finely tuned to facilitate that.
Yes.
And you're talking about transfer growth, and I think sometimes that's a good thing when you're trying to find which of these church models fits you as an individual.
Right, yes.
And so for me, I was really drawn to the more Athens style here at 514. And I've really discovered it to be sort of a unique cultural milieu, social environment.
Yeah.
And I talked about this the first time we sat down for coffee.
That's right.
Is that you can bring glory to God in many different ways throughout your life, your career, your passions, your dreams. Mm-hmm. And I just really found that to be a unique oasis here in Central Ohio, and very accommodating for my own aspirations.
Yes.
And you mentioned 21 Pilots.
Yes.
They were the light on the city on the hill
for
me.
Right.
And,
they kind of drew your attention here.
And I did.
But were you ever here when Tyler was on staff?
No, I came February 2017, so that was right after he won the Grammy.
Right, yeah.
But basically, I did my research because I was liking the lyrics and the meaning behind them, and then I realized, wait, his church is 10 minutes from my house in Westerville.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So I was sort of a small distance pilgrim.
Yes.
I wandered over here one weekend. And basically, I found, one of the first people I was introduced to was Ryan Donovan, and he was on the show first week. Yeah,
yep.
And I just really got the immediate sense that he wasn't merely tolerating my passions; he was celebrating them.
Yeah,
and that's just really indicative of this milieu that I was referring to.
That's incredible. It's true about this place. There's so much beauty. There's so many levels of giftedness. Now I got to tell you, you might know this. I don't know if I've said this to you. When you first came in, you scared a lot of people. Now you're the nicest, sweetest guy in the world. But when you first meet you, how tall are you?
I'm 6'5", without the shoes on.
Yeah, you're 6'5", so 6'6" with your boots on. You wear this big long coat. You had a backpack on. People were like, "What's this guy got going on?" And then you are instinctively communal. Mm-hmm. Like you just you magnetize towards people. So it's like you're looking over their shoulder, and it's like, "Who's this guy?" But at first, you scared some people. We had your book bag. We got
carry my Bible and my my
right,
notes
exactly.
And all that.
So we're going, who's this guy? But you came in serious, ready to engage, and as soon as we all got to know you, it's like, man, this guy he's the real deal. He's fun to have around. And so you cut your teeth doing that. You appreciate the more eclectic. Did this church have anything to do with you moving forward on this project?
I'd say. My smaller projects were more in tandem with my time at Xenos. When I first started going to 514, February 2017, I was also at OSU in the nursing college.
Okay.
And I was really trying to decide whether I could do that alongside my passion and also have a day job. And that's actually one of the things I talked to Tyler about, is that you really have to focus on two things instead of three, because you want to do as well as a job as you can. And so I got to a crucial point after these key conversations with, Ryan Donovan, David McCreary, Eddie Mowry, talked to you, and you guys are just so encouraging, morale building, that I really got a sense of, and Tyler too. Tyler was, I think I think it's so important for a young artist to have someone way further down the road than them to take the young artist seriously.
Yes.
To get that sense.
Yes.
That you have this potential and you can do it if you want to focus on it. Mm-hmm. So that really was the wind in my sails, so to speak.
That's great.
For deciding, okay, I'm going to focus my attention onto the book project here, and it ended up taking about 5 or 6 years to complete.
Right.
And so I needed all the morale building I could.
Yeah, it's a big
get.
project. So tell everybody. I mean, it's an amazing story. It's not just a book. This is an autobiography, a biography, a historical retelling of a family member. I mean, this is an amazing story.
Yeah. So my grandfather's Aunt Kate was the originator of synchronized swimming.
Yeah. I mean, say that again. I mean,
cool.
your great
Aunt Kate
great Aunt Kate
invented synchronized swimming, the Olympic sport.
She invented it.
Yeah.
That is wild.
I feel like I'm supposed to not ask you, well, how'd that happen? Because I'm supposed to have read the book, but I haven't read the book yet. I have the book, but tell everybody, give everybody the abridged version here, man.
So the phrase synchronized swimming originated in 1934 at the Chicago World's Fair, and my Aunt Kate, that's what I call her for short, is
What's her real name?
Katharine Whitney Curtis.
Okay.
That's the main title of my book. It's a biography. Subtitle's Mother of Synchronized Swimming. She put together for the 34 World's Fair a group of 30 to 60 swimmers, basically staging for the world at that time. I mean, Charlie Chaplin was doing his thing around the corner from the Lagoon Theater.
Okay.
And a former Olympian named Norman Ross, he coined the phrase synchronized swimming by trying to describe what my Aunt Kate was doing.
Okay.
Water ballet being standardized and turned into a more codified sport. And most importantly, set to music.
So why were they doing that? Why did she start doing that?
Well, she started out as an endurance swimmer, and she always thought that there ought to be something for people who aren't just into speed swimming, competitive swimming. And so she started with what's called stunt swimming, and that was basically doing tricks in the water. And she had a mentor who was a vaudeville acrobat. And so she just, it was the perfect storm. All the right elements came into play at the right time. And it just happened to be on the world stage when all these people were going back to their countries wanting to basically learn more. And she wrote the first book on it in 1936, 2 years after the World's Fair, based on popular demand. And the rest is history.
Yeah, that you found out and wrote down.
Yeah, so a lot of this was original research. I went to Chicago, the Chicago History Museum, looked up primary resources, and I had to read over 2,000 pages of handwritten correspondence in ballpoint cursive for the most part. I was born in 1992, so I had to relearn how to
read cursive.
Read cursive.
Yeah. Wow.
But yeah, I mean,
what were those documents entailing? What was it?
I mean, a lot of it's just like daily correspondence with varying degrees of historical importance.
Wow.
And that's still for the record. You can go to Chicago and look those up by signing a permission slip. But basically, the most important thing that I discovered beyond just, what she was doing, facts-based, what are the dates and
yeah, right. This is the
trivia.
Story. Yeah.
I really got to discover her humanity.
Yeah.
And I think that's most important for a biographer like myself, is that it turns out she was over in World War II. She was a recreational director for the Red Cross, serving under Generals Patton and Eisenhower. And she knew General Patton personally, and he knew her. And he actually grabbed her butt in public at one point. Because, and this is chapter 6. You can look it up later, Joel.
I will. That sounds like an interesting part. I might have to jump to that.
It's the family jewel of the family stories. The crowning jewel, I should say.
There it is.
But basically, she was putting on a public event to present this club for recuperating soldiers.
We shouldn't actually be laughing about the fact that he did that. Was she okay with it?
Oh, I should clarify that. This
was not okay.
It was a surprise at first, but it was meant to boost morale for these wounded soldiers, and she actually let it happen.
Okay.
And she actually joked about it afterwards.
Now it's safe.
Okay, now I feel
right
better.
now we're better because we're in a different time now.
That's
here, man.
right. And,
Not okay.
And Patton was known for these kind of stunts. He would like pull down his pants at fancy dinner parties.
Mercy.
So he just liked to have that. He'd like to deconstruct that formality.
I understand. Yeah.
But basically, she was a woman who lived ahead of her time, and I think everyone nowadays would love to learn about her.
Yeah.
And,
what is the moral? Like, what is the inspirational message?
So my focus as the historian and biographer for this story was trying to draw out a major theme beyond the facts. And something that I saw overarching throughout her entire life is that everything that she tried to do and that she actually was quite successful in achieving was that she tried basically just to help other people. She unveiled synchronized swimming during the Great Depression.
That's going to say, yeah, right.
She helped wounded soldiers keep their sense of hope for the future during World War II. And during the Cold War, she brought people together by operating a tours program in post-war occupied Germany. And I think that's just something that is especially applicable today, is that, my thesis is that true nobility was never achieved by being better than other people, but by choosing to help other people for the better, for strength to be shared, for beauty to inspire, and for love to bind everything that we build in this world until the end. And I end the book by saying, true nobility was never meant to be exceptional. True nobility was meant to be common.
That's cool.
And as a writer with a poetic, philosophical background, and I have, my influences from Christianity, I really wanted to sort of portray to the world these positive values, and in a way that is not like direct sunlight, but like a beautiful moon at night.
Yes, a reflection.
And it's coming from somewhere divine.
That's great. Hey, that's amazing. Guys, I mean, Jordan, you're an amazing guy. Thank you for being here. Jordan Whitney-Wei. The book is called Katharine Whitney Curtis, Mother of Synchronized Swimming. It's his great Aunt Kate. You guys need to go buy this book. Incredible, man. It's amazing that at our church we have folks like you that have the kind of talent and inspiration and drive to do this kind of work. And I would have to say, man, that when we think about her and I see what she did and her creative ingenuity and her passion and the translation of that to helping other people, I see a lot of that in you, man. So it's pretty cool. I hope you saw that when you were studying her, that the apple hasn't fallen far from the tree.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, guys. We're so glad that you have listened. We're so grateful that you spent some time with us. Abreeves is with us still here.
I'm here.
We're here.
I'm here.
We're together. We're absorbing. I mean, it's an amazing the myriad of talents and stuff that we have at this church.
It is so cool.
This isn't the kind of thing that you're going to see on a Sunday. This is the rest, man.
Right.
And there's so much. It's so rich and so real. We're really lucky to have people like Jordan here. So, guys, we're so thankful that you joined us. Look out for the next podcast coming up soon. And with that, this is The Rest with Joel Kovacs. God is beautiful, and so are you. We'll talk to you next time.